Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, and welcome into the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue a director spotlight for a director which we have already covered the entire filmography of, Wes Anderson. His filmmaking career continued when he released two stories from the from the shorts of Roald Dahl, The Wonderful Story of 𝙎𝙬𝙉𝙍𝙍, and The Swan. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? That was amazing. I was not expecting that whatsoever. And then, I don't know.
That's kind of came to me.
That's the thing, is that you have a talent for speaking fast, actually. And that was, you even messed up. And I was thinking, like if I tried to do that, I would not even get 3 words in before I fucked up. But I was like, when I was watching, I'm like, man, these people know how to talk pretty fast. Like, for
it's
actors,
impressive.
like, I don't know, just doing that West talk. But yeah,
I think it's West talk, and then it's turned up to 10. Like this is a whole other level. This is a whole other level.
Yeah, I know. They were zooming through.
Nah.
These were some shorts indeed. I don't know. Had to be concise and quick.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you could argue that if they talked at a normal pace, I mean, The Wonderful Story of 𝙎𝙬𝙉𝙍𝙍 probably could have been an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. It would be really cool to see, like, the full movies made on these. You know, like, just if they were extended out to the normal times. I feel like The Wonderful,
fascinating.
Like, yeah, 𝙎𝙬𝙉𝙍𝙍 is the closest to actually being able to be like a whole movie. Yeah. The Swan is much more short. Like, I mean, it is 17 minutes compared to what, the 40? Yeah,
40.
9? Or okay, it is just 40.
39, closer to 40.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a 9 at the end, but I was like, 40, was it really 49 minutes? It didn't feel that long. Yeah, okay. But I don't know. Some great additions into the Wes universe. We got Benedict Cumberbatch, which I think slots in like a glove.
Oh man, he fits this shit, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he killed it. He killed this shit, and I'm glad that we're getting more of him in Poison. Still, just I don't know, another 17-minute one it seems, but.
Yeah, the next couple. The Wonderful Story of 𝙎𝙬𝙉𝙍𝙍 is the only one that's a little bit more extended. The other two will be the same length as The Swan. Which,
are they all written by Ronald Dahl?
Roald Dahl. Yeah, Roald.
Oh,
there's no N.
Oh, didn't see that. Roald.
Yes, they're all from the same. I think they're all from the same set of stories too. Like it's the same book.
Because I think Fantastic Mr. Fox is written by him.
It is. It is indeed.
Is that it in the Wes filmography that's written by him? Would be these shorts and Fantastic, or is there anything else?
That would be it as far as Wes's filmography is concerned. But this, like, it was because of the Fantastic Mr. Fox. As soon as Ray Fiennes shows up in the first one, I immediately knew he was supposed to be Roald Dahl. Because he modeled Franklin Bean in Fantastic Mr. Fox after Roald Dahl with like the sweater and the the hair, and the way he was sitting with that thing above him was the same as Mr. Fox whenever he's making the plan.
Yes, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh my god, this is kind of like whenever he's breaking it down and he's like, all right, be quiet here. I'm talking. Like I'm giving my lecture here.
Say more than okay. This is an honor,
Yeah, he instantly looked like a writer. I mean, dude had that cardboard tube. Yep. And then the little wooden platform. I gotta get me like a setup. I don't know.
I want that for podcast. I just want a chair where I can.
I know. I could eat on that. I could draw.
That would change my life.
Laptop. I don't know. You could do everything on there. And you could take it anywhere. I feel like you could even put that tube like on your lap, and then even put the wooden platform like on your bed, even or so. I don't know. Anyways, that room was super cool, and yeah, seeing Ralph Fiennes. That's I don't know. I gotta get that stuck in my head. But man, no, he was pretty awesome in these, and I guess the only thread through them all, the writer. But really cool, like the medium we're going through, like seeing through, I guess with this one, we're seeing through the writer's characters' perspective.
Yeah, it's fascinating because even the character himself will begin to narrate as though he's the writer. Like even Henry Sugar would refer to himself as he every once in a while.
Yeah, it did break, like both of them broke, I guess, like the hierarchy. I don't know what to really call it, but like the fourth wall, whatever they were in. Like even little Peter would like take the role of another kid, or like it was, I don't know. They weren't always just themselves, which was interesting.
No man, I watched them both twice now.
Me as well. I did,
and I'm feeling really, really, really good about them. I loved The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar specifically.
That was pretty sweet, dude.
Oh, dude, I love it. I mean, and the second time I watched The Swan, I liked it even more than the first time I watched it. But what do you say we discuss The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar? How about it?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Benedict Cumber. I don't know all the different names people call him.
Yeah, Benny Balls Cumberbun.
Yeah, you can just basically say anything that's kind of close. And you'll get there. But no, oh my god. Like, I was worried that I was like only going to be able to see Doctor Strange just because that's just what I know him as so much. And like, oh my god, he just took off. Like, I don't know, he was just not Doctor Strange whatsoever.
More Sherlock than Doctor Strange in this bad boy.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Gambly, you know, if Sherlock was just I don't know, more of a money maker, instead of a crime solver,
or heroin. Instead of heroin, it's gambling.
That's true. He was addicted to heroin. That was true.
Entering his mind palace by staring at the flame at 16 inches away from his face and stuff. You know,
pretty cool mythology.
Oh, dude, I like this story. I think this is and I love the way that they decided to tell it. You know, I think that stretching this into a movie is very possible. 100%. In fact, I think it would make a really, really good movie. But something that works towards these shorts is the incessant urgency and pace with which they are told. It almost like Emily, when we finished watching The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, she said, that's my favorite Wes Anderson thing.
Wow.
And I was like, not for me, but I loved it, but it wasn't my favorite. But like, it's that incessant pace kind of keeps you glued to it.
That's true. That is true. Because you can't really miss anything. Like, it's like there's so much packed
You look down for 5 seconds and they've made leaps in the story. You know, like it's really a lot that happens. And that's a wonderful little cast they had in The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar as well, starting with Ralph Fiennes and then the transition over to
writer into the character of so did Roald? What's his?
Yeah, Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl. So Roald Dahl wrote Henry's real. Henry's the... Wait a minute. Because then Henry reads the book of the Doctor that then meets with what's
M.Con.
Yeah. Meets with him, and then we get his first accounts with meeting Yogi.
Yes.
So there's the onion there. Is that the furthest in the onion we go?
Yes, and then it unwinds back to M.Con, back to ZZ, and then back
after
to Henry Sugar.
After 20 years of doing it.
Yeah.
Or, okay. No, he tells his secret to the Doctor.
Yes.
And then that's he puts it in a book, and then that's how Henry Sugar picks it up.
Yeah.
And then he reads that, instantly changes his life, knows what he has to do, wins $30K in a night, and then is like, all right, I gotta change. Well, actually, he didn't fuck with that at first. That was, I don't know, I think that's my favorite scene, actually, whenever he was like, he won, and he was like, I don't know how I feel about this, actually. Woke up, and he was like, I'm gonna give it away. You know, and like,
starts
and then
throwing it from the balcony.
Yeah. And then, like, you're like, hey, it starts off pretty nice, and then it's calm, and then he just World War III.
The violent clamoring below.
Oh God. Yeah, like, can you, I mean, like, damn. I don't know what city he was in. I don't know if they mentioned that.
I mean, it's England. I think it's London specifically.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, pretty populated. Like, someone threw $30K up in the air, like, it's going down. Like, yeah like, it's gonna get dangerous, but
very quickly.
I loved Ray Fiennes as the policeman running up to him and being like, "You fucking idiot," you know, like you rich piece of shit. You don't know what it's like at all. Like, do something smart with the money. Why don't you?
If you win 30,000 pounds and you decide you do not wish to keep the money, you do not just throw it into the street. You give it to a worthy cause, like a hospital, an orphanage. They are everywhere. You know, like it was that was a great fucking part of this one.
I mean,
and it is a great scene.
Strong enough to get him to be like, I know what I must do now.
And that's my scene.
Like, really?
When he's coming in and out, and he's changing the disguises and stuff, and he's changing his voice, and it goes full Texan with it at one
That
point.
was maybe a line. I have two lines.
Incredible.
Oh my God.
Incredible accent work and costume design and set design, and
he was awesome. Like, all the voices he did, for 50,000 pounds a night for 365 days a year. That's 18.25 million pounds. And then, like, switches into, like, a full woman for a second there. Just a pilot. I forgot what the other ones were.
Like a shabby sort of
kind of like
man.
Trench cloak, trench coat. I don't know what I said there, but yeah, I loved that Texan accent. I was like, oh, okay, all right, Benedict.
No, yeah, I think that, and obviously, I think you got to go with Henry Sugar or Benedict Cumberbatch as Henry Sugar as the performance. I think that.
Oh yeah,
this man just kind of fucking carried, and I mean, not to say that anybody else didn't do a worthy job. I think that Dev Patel, for one, is another fantastic addition into the Wes Anderson catalog. If he wants to come back and do some more Wes, I highly invite it.
Yeah, I don't know. Wes, it's when he invites new people in, and you see him for the first time, you're just like, oh my God, this just makes sense. Like in Asteroid City, like Scarlett Johansson. I don't know. I feel like that was the one that I was feeling the weirdest about, like if she could actually fit or not, and then she just did. And then, whatever the girl off Stranger Things, that's the teacher in Asteroid City.
Maya Hawke.
Like, oh my God, just fits like a glove. And like, like every new actor is just perfect. And like, I don't know. I feel, I don't know. I hope. Like, I wonder how long was the Darjeeling short? Was it even as long as 70?
7.
Oh, 7. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
13. Maybe I'm tripping. But it's something like that.
Because I guess there was like Natalie Portman in there. Bill Murray.
Yeah, it's just Natalie Portman
like a very
and
small character. Like no one in the action. Like
it's 13 minutes. The Bottle Rocket short was 7 minutes, but Hotel Chevalier is 13 minutes long.
Like, do you think any of these are building towards a movie at all, or do you think these are completely standalone?
I think they're standalone. I think that Wes Anderson has obviously had a great affinity for Roald Dahl's work over many, many years. And I think that this was his way of being able to make a bunch of movies with a bunch of people he'd never really worked with before.
Trial run for a movie, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, like,
Rupert Friend, he was just in Asteroid City as Montana, and he's popping back up. And he's incredible in the Swan, but Benedict Cumberbatch, Ben Kingsley, Dev Patel. all these dudes, I'm pretty sure those are all Oscar nominated and Oscar winning actors that appeared in this short.
Damn. Okay. Wow.
And he'd never worked with any of them. And to just go ahead and load them all up into this 40-minute short, probably. Sorry, Craig, you're back. And it's different. It's different than anything any of them have done. You know, and that's kind of what makes it intriguing, I'm assuming, to an actor. You know, it's like,
you don't turn it down. Like, if you get that call from Wes Anderson, you're like, I don't know. Like, do you think it's like an instant yes? Like, do you think it's just like, no, I got to think about it, or like, I don't know. Like,
I mean, I would guess it just pens scheduling conflicts, and that's it. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like, because I mean, and I guess material is important too, and Wes Anderson doesn't always work for everybody. You know, and I'm assuming
I feel
that
like he's gonna ask someone though that's not like a fan of his work. I don't know. I feel like the people he asks, I don't know. Maybe I'm like building him up on too high of a pedestal or something. But I don't know. I feel like his movies, or even the shorts, like all the discourse about it. There's the half the people that are like, oh, this is so stupid. Like what a dumb way to tell stories, and like, or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. You have to like go into it being like, oh, this is gonna be dumb. Like, I'm going to hate this, and like just be mad the whole time in order to hate it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so hard not to just like escape into the West world and just like, Westworld, holy shit,
Westworld.
Whoa, I didn't even mean to do that. But
nah, man.
No, it's
I see where you're coming from, though. I see where you're coming from, though. I think that for the most part, I'd be willing to bet that a lot of the stuff he comes up with, you know, they often say you're not supposed to write with an actor in mind,
but he does.
When it came to specifically Ben Kingsley and Benedict Cumberbatch's roles in The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, I straight up have no idea who else you would go with there. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Dev Patel, but even Dev Patel immediately goes, like, he immediately fits right in. And I feel like that was the role that was the most like, it could have been anyone, but Dev Patel kind of came in and destroyed that, actually. Like, I loved, whenever they're bandaging his face, and they follow him down the hall, and he keeps turning back, and like, oh my god, do you see this?
You saw the trolley. This is,
I said,
you know, what was his friend's name? The other doctor there. He's like,
didn't
say
remember
a word. He was completely still, face stoned, or like, and he turns to the camera, just like, I love like how showy it was, like just narrating everything, and then like sometimes the people would say the line, or like he'd be like, he said, and then like he would say all of their lines, and then like sometimes they would repeat them or not. But
no, I really enjoy, like, I love the way that it was formatted, you know, starting with the writer, going to Henry Sugar finding the book, the story of the book, going back to Henry Sugar and the way it affected him. Like, it's just, and even deeper once you're in the story, ZZ telling the story of how he met Imdad Khan, and then Imdad Khan telling the story of what he went through, and then going back to him finding out that he died. Like, it's just an incredible series of events, man. And
so cool. Always through an art medium, and it just works like every time. It's like, it doesn't get old. Like, I love it every time. It just like, it adds this certain spice to it. And I don't know, it's just so intriguing that you can't look away, and that you just want to hear every word. And like, after watching it twice, I don't know, it's like I'm itching to even go back for more. Like, I don't know, the fact that they are so short, it is really easy to watch. Like, the reason I like Mr. Fantastic so much is that it's a very easy and consumable movie, like super comfortable. But this is like even quicker. It's even not necessarily that it's a bad thing that a movie's an hour and a half or longer.
No, right. But I mean, like, if it's 40 minutes, you tell a
Yeah.
full story that's satisfying. Like,
Mhm.
hey, that's why, like, short films, I don't think I've given them enough credit personally in the past. And I think that, I've started to come around on that quite a bit more. Because if you can tell that story effectively, you know, like a really, really good example of it that's like in television is season 1, episode 3 of The Last of Us. That is a short film.
Yeah.
As one episode of a larger TV series, you know what I'm saying? So like, if you can do that in a short enough time to where it's not necessarily a movie, but it like I'm there, you know, and I won't be surprised if I watch this. I don't know how many times, you know, like I'll be rewatching this.
It's weird because like even whenever I'm like slotting them in to my West list, it's like I don't really know how I can hold it up against a movie, you know? Like there's not many movies of his that I can say that I like these more. I think like I might watch it more than some of his movies, maybe. But that's just because it's so easy to watch.
Yeah, I try not to get too lost in the logic of it all. I try to just go, how does it make me feel? And no matter how long it is, how does that make me feel? And the wonderful story of Henry Sugar found its way, because I did throw it on the old list here. It found its way to 8 out of, at the time, 12 prior to the Swan. I have it above Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Isle of Dogs, and Bottle Rocket.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, what's the 4th movie that's down there? Because I had it above Rushmore, Bottle Rocket, Royal Tenenbaums as well. Did not have it above Isle of Dogs.
Understandable.
Did not put it above Life Aquatic or anything else above that either. Though
there's kind of a threshold for me where my top 7 Wes Anderson films make me like cry, and then my bottom 4 I just think are really good and don't make me cry. You know, I did like. There's something about the storytelling here that's not even directly the content of the story. But when Roald Dahl finished telling the story, and you know, the accountant and his brother were like, "We agreed never to share his name," you know, and I'm sure it'll leak sooner or later, but you know, we're going to protect it for now. We'd prefer that you did as well. And then Roald Dahl goes, and so I did.
What I did.
Yeah. The credits rolled, and I was kind of like, "Huh." Man, you know, like I didn't like cry, but I was like, whew,
like a respect, like a, I don't know. It's a weird like, it's such a cool, like we found out this hidden gem of a story. It's kind of like a treasure hunt, and the treasure's like a story at the very end,
right?
Because like, say something like this actually does happen in real life. Like there is this dude in the middle of the jungle that just trains every day, can float and do some crazy shit. And then one dude follows one of his disciples into the jungle, finds him, gets hit by a rock, and then he has to be taught a lesson. The only way you're going to know about it is if it somehow gets published in something.
This
you know,
contrived little...
Yeah, he was a circus man, and that's how he got a little popular. I mean, dude just walked into a hospital and was like, "What's up? Bandage me." Like,
I'm a man who can see without his eyes.
You're gonna want to do this. I wonder how many times he's done this before. He seems like he's done it a couple times.
Oh yeah, at least, you know, it's a traveling circus troupe, and
this is the first doctor to be like, "Oh, we gotta figure out how you." Like,
I'm taking it that ZZ is the first one who ever took any true interest in the validity of it, and every other doctor might have eventually been like, "This has to be bullshit," you know.
ZZ, is that his first name?
Yeah, ZZ.
Dr. Chatterjee.
ZZ Chatterjee.
ZZ.
Because it was 2 Z's, but in a different language, it's ZZ.
ZZ. Okay. I got it. But I went for him as my character just because I'm like, yeah, this dude was the one who
he spread the word,
got it out to the world, you know. It was like, yo, what the fuck's going on here? I mean, he sprinted out of the hospital, saw that dude ride his bike in the middle of the road and was like, "Oh my god, I got to go to this dude's show." He went to the show, and then he went to his house or wherever he lived afterwards. And then he felt guilty after he died. He's like, "It's my fault. Like, I should have stayed. I should have, like," I don't know, he felt like guilty almost. He was like, "I should have stayed. I should have, or let him sleep in over at my place." I don't know what he said, but something like that.
Yeah.
But I love just like his narration and
That's great.
the way, like, yeah, he would like go down the steps and then like come back, for a second, say one more line, or I don't know. I loved his narration. I thought it was really fun.
Our little Slumdog Millionaire. Loved Dev Patel.
It was written. It was written, and he wrote it. He wrote for 5 hours nonstop. In short, he had perfect shorthand, so we got every single word.
I believe I'm reporting this to you exactly word for word what he said to me.
Beautiful, a beautiful way to be like, all right, now here we're gonna jump into this dude's like POV because it is perfect shorthand. Like
exactly.
It's not. We're not gonna have it
like
told
shot of
him.
him where he's like standing in front of the circus tent, and it says, and it says like exactly what he said to me that night. Across the top, you get the like stop motion animals across the top, and then whenever there's a rustling in the leaves, and he like pauses and it's just incredible stagecraft. It almost feels like spoken word at points. Like it's just
Dude, the sets were cool. Like,
I love
some of the
sets.
shots. I'm like, is that in one shot here? Like, obviously there are some times where they cut. Like, I think my favorite shot is even the still of it, just when it starts, I love. But it's kind of the motion of it, and it's whenever he's Henry Sugar sitting in his house. I think it's his house because he's a rich motherfucker, just staring out the window, and it's raining. I thought that was nice, and then you have Ray Fiennes come up behind and open up the little window. But then he's like,
and he walks,
and then I walked in, and then like you see the library just like come down, and then like he opens the door. So I think they cut there. I'd assume, but maybe not. Like, I don't know. Maybe that was all in just one, and they actually just
possible.
Built that
like that's the thing is that they gave me no reason to believe it wasn't one shot. Like there are points later on where the training montage later on that reads as one shot. You know what I'm saying? Like he walks down the stairs with the playing cards in his hand, sits down at the table, goes into the bathroom, comes back, is all disheveled. And like, it's possible. I mean, all you had to do was go in there, take off his shirt, fake beard, fake hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like just yes, exactly like a play.
Yeah, it was awesome. I don't know. And I love the onion layers as always. It's always fun in a West.
This feels
kind of French Dispatch-esque.
I'm thinking this is the Spirit sequel to Grand Budapest Hotel. I think that's
what I meant, because French Dispatch is very not onion layered, just very different.
Well, and that's why I think that what's really interesting is while this feels like a Spirit sequel to the Grand Budapest, it feels like a culmination of every other project he's done since 2009. Fantastic Mr. Fox, Grand Budapest Hotel, French Dispatch. You take all those elements, roll them into one, and then you get the wonderful story of Henry Sugar. You know what I'm saying? The Roald Dahl story in this onion-layered storytelling format where they speak directly to the camera as a story that came from somebody else and they're telling it now, and then the stagecraft sort of element of the French Dispatch where like even the shots of Ben Kingsley at like the bottom of the screen where the entire jungle is above him and he's like on the bottom third and he's down in the corner. Very French Dispatch. Again, very Asteroid City as well. It reminded me of Bryan Cranston when he's speaking to the camera in Asteroid City.
But
yeah, it's just so fascinating how he builds on everything he does and continues to evolve in maybe not massive ways, but ways that are distinct. Like this isn't exactly like anything he's done before. While it maintains elements of what he's done before, it's not the same. You can't look at anything he's done before and go, well, that's just like the wonderful story of Henry Sugar.
No, he always evolves, I guess. We're trying something new to try to see how it lands.
What comes next?
Yeah. Oh man. No, and by the way, the graphics you did for this, fucking incredible. The spotlight and how, come on. Like, come on, dude. Yeah, I mean, it just works too well for all of these.
I thought so too.
I had to get that out there.
I appreciate
it. Works very, very well. But man, no, I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Any scene that was awesome. I don't know. I love how they like use perspective a lot. Like some of the sets were built very like the camera had to be in that one position.
Yeah.
In like the painted box like that.
Dude,
Yogi
loved
sat
that.
on as well. That Benedict also sat on as well.
Well, and there's a lot of points whenever like they give the illusion of depth to a room, but I'm fairly certain it's not like it's just the size of the stuff in the background is small.
Yeah,
and I think it happened with the jungle set. It happened with a few other things. Like it's just Benedict Cumberbatch's apartment or house or whatever. I don't feel like that room went back as far as it seemed to go. And obviously the windows outside changing night and day and the weather and everything and the lights in the hotel across the street coming up and stuff like
definitely playing with perspective a lot and a lot of lighting on specifically the eyeballs, like the oval spotlight on the eyes. That was like carried through in both wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and the Swan. So I don't know. I think maybe that does he do that? Is that because I think in Grand Budapest there is some of that, like whenever they're both sitting at the table in the dining room, but it's not. I don't know if it's just the eyes in specific. I think it's more of like it.
That does feel pretty original, but it also feels like it's paying sort of an homage to something he's done in the past. You know, he's done a lot of that closed iris zoom in on stuff, like in the Grand Budapest after they've like Ralph Fiennes punches Adrian Brody punches Ralph Fiennes, and then Tony Revolori punches Adrian Brody, and then Willem Dafoe punches Tony Revolori, and he turns around and the closed iris goes in on his face. You know, so like there is a little bit of that in the past, but it's definitely building on something that he's done and still creating a new way of doing it. And yeah, man, I fucking. Like, I adore these shorts, and I can't wait to watch the next two. Obviously, there's been one released today as of the release date of this podcast, but we're recording on Thursday, coming out Friday. And we'll be covering The Ratcatcher and Poison on Monday instead of Game of Thrones. So we will get all of it. We'll get to all of it. Don't worry. But
important, if you're enough to halt Thrones, you know, that's saying something.
It is. I love me some Wes, man. And I love, again, you know, something that kind of took a couple watches was the distinctive performances and the character work with each one, you know, because the first time you kind of run through it, you kind of feel a sameness about Benedict Cumberbatch and then Dev Patel and then Ben Kingsley is really the only one who stands out because, you know, he's an older man and he feels like he's taking a little bit more of his time than Benedict Cumberbatch or Tony Revolori. Or Tony Revolori, Dev Patel, my bad. But Ben Kingsley as Kong is my favorite character of the wonderful story of Henry Sugar.
I'm glad he's getting a nod. He definitely deserves one here.
He was a great character, man. I loved he was just a sweet old man, you know, he was a sweet guy. He'd found inner peace, you know, he's like, I've got everything I need. I know, like, even once he had this ability, he never took advantage of it, you know? He just continued with the circus that he was already on. He might have practiced, you know, and he practiced for 20 years. Is that what he said? And he eventually figured it out.
That might have been Henry Sugar might have been doing his casino thing for 20 years, I think.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know how long he was on his carnival run for. But it took him... I
was thinking like the training process, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think that's what Yogi said. Yogi was like, average 20.
Yeah, you know, some take 10, some take 30.
Yeah, you never know. If you can even do it at all. It's like, is visualize even really that difficult? He's like, almost impossible, actually. Yeah, it's like, try to do it. I don't know. I did it the first time. I was like, I don't know. I just stared at my water bottle, and I'm like, okay. Oh, come on. I'm like, I can see my water bottle in my mind.
That's why meditating is so fucking hard. You know, like
I see my water bottle for like a split second, and then it's just bump. No, it isn't. Not there any longer. Man, I don't know. Like, it kind of got me to think. I'm like, okay, obviously this is like some, this isn't real. I don't know. Is this like at all real or like based on any real accounts? I mean, like,
I don't think so. I don't think getting to the point where you can see without your eyes or levitating is in any way sort of founded. But finding an inner peace through this discipline where you are at peace and are able to focus on whatever you desire focusing on, like you.
What if though?
Yeah, like
I mean, okay, the levitating part, that's a little beyond me. But like all an image is an electrical signal in your brain. Like like your eyes do a very good job at it. It's very easy when you have eyeballs. But like bats, like, I mean, they do have eyes. It's like a misnomer, I guess, that like they do see with their eyes too, but they can also just see in the dark with echolocation. But like, I'd say, I don't know, you could Daredevil it up. Like Daredevil got his because of some chemicals. It sped up the process. He was that 1 in a billion, but everyone else, you just gotta train. It's like being a Jedi. If you just gotta work, you gotta work for it. Talent can help, but with enough dedication, that's kind of the moral I got out of this was like dedication. Like that was the word that kept coming back. Was like if you're dedicated enough, you can do anything. And because I mean, Henry Sugar didn't stop working for 3 years and
3.5 years of 12 hours of uninterrupted work.
Oh my god. But he became, or could have been, the richest man in the world.
Yeah, the word that came to you was dedication. The one that came to me was discipline.
That's good. Yeah. I like
discipline.
That.
Kind of the ability to take advantage of this power you possess, and then controlling yourself to the point where it's brought you to the point. Possessing this power has brought you to the point where you realize that you can't take advantage of it. You found this inner peace through this discipline, this hard work, this thing you did earn, whenever he's going to the casino and stuff, he worked for 3.5 years to get to the point where he could do that. And then there's no risk. There's nothing he's working towards. Then he finds a purpose again. In doing that, he's working towards building 21 different hospitals and orphanages around the world. And that's the new goal. That's what he's trying to earn. That's what he's trying to make. And I thought that, like, my line comes from Henry Sugar whenever the accountant's like, you could be the richest man in the world. And he goes, I don't want to be the richest man in the world. I like that one gave me chills, and I kind of like teared up a little bit. I was like, oh man. Nice. I don't know what it is about a Wes thing, but I get that closed iris zoom in real life. Everything goes dark and it's just the TV. It's just the story.
Yeah.
And I get like all the way in it.
The dialogue was just so good. Like, I don't know, like just in Benedict Cumberbatch, just like everything rolled off his tongue just so well. It was so clear and like eloquently spoken. And like the other line I might have gone with was just one that just sounded cool. And it's whenever he is training and he sees the back of a card for the first time and he says, slowly, magically, but distinctly, the black blob becomes a spade and a twisty squiggle becomes a 5. And that's it. Like that's all he says, but the way he said
delivery,
it was
just like,
yes. There were so many awesome deliveries of lines.
And both of these, and that was something that also struck me about the pace of this. Is that the reason my line is my favorite line is because we'd been going, and then after it we go, but when he says, you could be the richest man in the world, he pauses.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't want to be the richest man in the world. And then it speeds up again. So like they place an emphasis on this thing because they've been going so fast, because he's been speeding through shit, that when they slow down, it emphasizes exactly what you need to feel. And to do that through just dialogue and pacing and not really emoting is pretty incredible. It's not like Benedict Cumberbatch gets thoughtful and sad or morose when he says that, or like, it's like a clarity of purpose, and that's That's all. I don't want to be the richest man in the world. And it became like this, oh my God. I felt that, and it's brilliant, dude. I know that we've grown to love Wes Anderson a great deal, and
Oh yeah.
but it just works for me. It just works for me on every level. And one thing that I am thankful for is that these are shorts. I think that just after watching the SWAN, if all 4 of these were cut together as a movie, I think it would be a difficult movie to get through.
Yeah,
because of the pace. It is so fucking fast that if it is an hour and a half, which is what they will end up being in total, I think, the 17, 34, 51, 40, so about an hour and a half. Like, to do that for an hour and a half would be difficult to pay attention to. This short formatting, I think, was a brilliant choice, even if there is some other behind the scenes reason he decided to do it. But I fucking love it, dude.
No, yeah, it's nice. It's like a new treat every day as well. It's like I woke up and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, is the SWAN like up there? Like, is it midnight that this comes out? And I'm like, oh yeah, no shit, it's up there. And I'm like, okay.
Nice little treat before I went to work this morning.
Like a morning, kind of like when we had Bad Batch, it was nice just having like cartoons in the morning again. But now I get a Wes, treat every morning. It's like, oh man, yeah, I'm living right now.
Living good. But is there anything else about the wonderful story of Henry Sugar that we haven't touched on? The favorites anyway? Have we
all of our favorites? I believe.
I don't believe.
Maybe your shot. Actually.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I've spoken my shot. It comes during Imdad Khan's little quest, his little journey. Whenever we pan, basically through the jungle, it pushes through as the stagecraft moves side to side and everything. We get up to the yogi, and he's moving the box, and he starts sitting on it and stuff. But if you want to take a still frame, it's when he's sitting in the jungle just floating there. Fucking loved it. It was a beautiful piece of stagecraft with the jungle life around him, and the huts. I loved the design of the huts. Thought those were cute as fuck.
It's a beautiful looking jungle. I don't know, like what that, like just kind of maybe like a painting, as well as like stuff like that gave it perspective.
Props.
Just like painted, other painted stuff in the foreground. Yeah, it looked. I don't know, and like him going through the jungle was really cool too.
Yeah.
Like how it like just went to the side and everything.
And then the cuts from all the different places in the story with Henry Sugar at the end, whenever he's doing the meditating and he's floating off the ground.
Yes, that
was. It takes
him
to the jungle. It takes him to the hospital. It takes him to everywhere the story's been told. Him
seeing through his body.
Oh damn, ending. We didn't speak on that.
Yeah, the fake ending. But
I think it's a little bit foreshadowing, like what they explained to us at the beginning is what eventually happened to him. It's just not when it happened. And that's why, and like I like to think that that's why Henry Sugar, that thought occurring to him is almost like he had to find a clarity of purpose before that came. He had to find a way to make his life have meaning before that happened, and he did.
Yeah. No, that was, I don't know, a nice, I don't know. And also, it's like I'm fresh off a watch of Casino, and seeing like the dark side of casinos, and then seeing a guy just like skim off the top, but give it back to hospitals.
Give it back to the community.
I was like, yeah, I can get behind that.
When he's crafting the plan, and he's like, I'm going to go to Monte Carlo, Las Vegas, Cannes, and he's just listing all the cities. And you're like, God damn, I loved it. And that was easily my favorite scene. I loved his little plotting for what he was about to do. It was outstanding. But
dude could have I don't know.
Could have been the richest man alive. Yeah,
he could have bet in one hand of blackjack. Could fucking, I don't know. He could put like $1 million down.
Could clear out a casino for sure.
Be that confident, but he'll just skim off.
When he makes the mistake. He runs. He walks into the casino for the first time, and he hits on 19 with complete calm and composure.
Everyone instantly came around the table and was like, "Yo, what?"
Yeah.
And then he's like,
"What's he look back and say to them?" He's like,
oh yeah, what does he eat? And then they all go away. Like, oh, what did he say?
I don't know, but I loved it.
Beg
I
your
loved
pardon?
the little,
I think it was
yeah,
beg your pardon. Yeah.
yes.
Like for some
Beg your
reason, I don't
pardon.
know. Yeah. And then they just went back. And he's like, "Oh,
Dude.
I have to be careful."
Yeah.
He's like,
No,
I
love
am
it.
too good at this.
Said the man behind the desk whose job it was to never forget a face. I love the way that they just complete the thoughts of what the book sentence said.
Mhm.
You know, like I love that shit. But are we ready to give the wonderful story of Henry Sugar a little bit of a rating and then touch on the Swan after that?
Yeah. I wonder how it will compare with everything else. Enjoyment, like, cause I mean, I did put it above Royal Tenenbaums, above Rushmore, and above Bottle Rocket. So that would mean the floor, if we're going off that, would be 8.75. And like I don't know, I'm having a good time. Like the fact that
I love this. Like I have no problem saying that.
Yeah, I think I think 9, maybe like.
I think 9. I think 9 is where my gut took me. You know, I think you know, it didn't make me full blown fall to the floor and sob. You know, and that's kind of what you need to elevate it past that. But goddamn, I had a great time. I will be revisiting. It was so satisfying to look at, which is a huge part. You know, it's 40 minutes, makes it very easy to watch.
Oh yeah,
it's got a lot going
set
for
design,
it.
Costume design, fucking the delivery of every line, the performances, I guess you could say for that. Like, it was just the onion, the different layers was beautiful.
Adored it.
Okay, so 9 there, and then critically. How do you rate a short?
I mean, same way you'd rate a movie, you know, like it's just that, but shorter, you know, like
what it accomplished in 39 minutes, 37 minutes, whatever it is. That's
a lot of movies don't accomplish what it did in a full fucking movie.
This is true. So I mean,
yeah, as long as you can. I mean, he's taken that fucking Oscar nom for best short. I'm guarantee it.
Oh, that's an award? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That short film.
Clean sweep there. They're not even, I don't know. I guess it's only one award. He might just get like 4 nominations.
Yeah, I'm like, he might get 4 nominations in the fucking category.
He might actually sweep the nominations.
Yeah, right. Almost. No, but it's a damn good one, you know. I think that when it comes to like we were saying, all the stuff you enjoyed about it, the stagecraft, the performances, the costume design, it's all pretty top notch in that regard. Like all that, I'm pretty strong there. I also loved the score. We didn't talk on that much, but the like kind of orchestral psalm that kind of played throughout the background at the end there was fucking gorgeous. I'm like, the only thing that you could have beef with, I guess, and it's not a critical thing, it's an enjoyment thing, is the way that it's written. You know, I think that it's written very, very well. I think that I could absolutely see, compared to a lot of other Wes Anderson things, how this might not be for you. You know, like even more than anything he's ever done. This, I can understand not being into this, you know, but I am.
I'd say this is more for the seasoned Wes Anderson fan.
Yeah. This is not like I'm going to be interested because I mean, like, I opened Netflix on Thursday and the top thing was The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I'm curious how many people had never seen a Wes Anderson thing and were just like,
yeah,
boop, gonna watch that.
How many people are gonna watch it and be like, "Oh, I'm never gonna watch another Wes thing again," and how sad that's gonna be.
I know. Or how many people watched it and fell in love with it? You know, like that's the other side.
This was awesome. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, but I don't know. I think uniqueness gives it a boost here, especially if it works. And I think it did work for this one. It made it very interesting just to see all the characters interconnecting and everything, and the different stories we got. So I don't know. I think let's see. What are we giving Life Aquatic 8.25, Darjeeling a 9? Can we say this on the same level as like a Darjeeling Limited?
I think that when it came to the Darjeeling Limited, you get a lot more fulfillment out of the character work itself. You know, like that might
makes
be
me
the only
cry,
place.
too. Yeah, that does make me cry.
And that's the thing that these shorts don't give you, especially this short. I think the Swan actually did more character-wise than this one did. I think this one has a very simple, straightforward kind of moral to the story. Like, yeah, give back. With time, dedication, and discipline, anything is possible. And, you know, like that sort of thing. Like this one feels like I should be able to show this to a 10-year-old and be like, this is all you need to know in life. I would not show the Swan, you know. I wouldn't, you know, like, and not for that purpose. It's a little more complicated on that side of things, but I think the character work might be the only place where you could argue we're losing a little bit in this one. And so I don't think I could quite elevate it to a 9, but Around Life Aquatic feels a little more right. I think that they do a great job with the characters in that movie as well, but like the heavy lifting that everything else is doing in this is pretty impressive, you know.
Yeah, that is true. I think that would put it around 8.25 area critically, and I think
I'm cool committing to that, you know.
Okay.
Because I would say it's better than Bottle Rocket and Rushmore.
Would average it out to an 8.5, which is for Wes. Let's see, a little bit below Isle of Dogs. That's 8.58. A little bit below Life Aquatic as well, 8.58, but above Royal Tenenbaums, Rushmore, and Bottle Rocket.
Sounds about right there.
There we go, and that's right where it placed down on my list. So I think that did come out well.
My pictures always come out.
Yeah, not bad.
But yeah,
that's for sure. I can say that.
Big time. But let's talk Swan. This one, you know, nice little short one. 17 minutes was a very nice and easy watch before work. But I will say, was a tad more on the dark side compared to The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, man.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
Rupert Friend. Oh, my fucking God, dude. I watched this man.
I hope now.
Yeah.
I
hope so, too. It seems like he's excited to be there. You know, this is some weird shit. This is even weirder than The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, I'd argue. You know, like, because he does all the roles. He says all the lines. Nobody else speaks in this except for a sound effect where someone goes.
Yeah, that's wow. Dang. Is that the only other spoken line?
I'm pretty sure. I don't think anyone else says a thing. Besides Roald Dahl, eventually at the end, Ray finds.
I think there's a little untie him or whatever that's told, or little Peter says. I think, like right when he's on the train tracks, I think. But yeah, you're right. Like he does actually carry the entire narration.
He's every character. He's Ernie. Is the other one Raymond? Is that the other one?
Yeah, that's okay. Ernie. Oh, I guess they're not cast because they don't say anything.
No, it's just him. It's Pete.
Wow,
it's little Peter.
But that sounds right. I'm terrible with names. I never.
And especially when he's talking this fast, it's hard to keep up with. But
Duke could be a car auction or an auctioneer.
Oh, absolutely. I was floored by Rupert Friend in this one. You know, I had obviously seen him in Obi-Wan Kenobi as the Grand Inquisitor, and I've seen him in Asteroid City as Montana. Which I love Montana and Asteroid City, so I won't go so far as to say this is my favorite Rupert Friend thing yet. But it might be his most impressive. Like this is incredible work, you know.
Not just kind of a side character that's just like hilarious to see whenever he's in the movie. Like I think he's just awesome
he's scribbling up a little warble.
But in this, I mean, he's leading the whole thing. He's taking you on a journey. And the first time I was watching, I'm like, okay, so this is obviously older Peter, right? I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I don't know. There are a few things that were like, lead me down that path whenever he has to put his hands up for the first time. I know the two bullies get to him and they take his binoculars and like, put your hands up. Yeah, he puts his hands up first, and he's like, "Yep, hands up," and then little Peter does it. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I see where this is going." And then like they do literally give it to you in a line. I mean, he is like, "These tracks right here. This happened to me 27 years ago. My name is Peter Watson." I love his delivery of that too. Like just so quick, and he's like, "Yeah, nope."
Well, and that's one of those like it becomes a little more clipped. Like he does kind of segment it.
Mm-hmm.
This happened 27 years ago. I am Pete Watson. Like he does a little pause between each one, and it kind of emphasizes that this, and again, the presence of little Peter there the whole time kind of implies that this has stuck with him his entire life. And whenever at the end they show him crumpled up on the ground with little Pete watching over him, like standing right there, it's kind of like a death of innocence sort of thing is how I took it. Like he's emotionally stunted sort of in this moment forever in this arrested development. But no, man, I love the Swan.
How do you interpret the ending, actually? Because you could either be like he flew towards the light, as in
died,
he did not live through this jump, or he actually somehow flew to his mother's front yard. Guess he was a little boy. Those wings were big. I don't know. I don't know the physics on swan wings, but we're in fiction territory here, or I don't know, fucking a real newspaper account.
Yeah.
So who knows?
When that popped up, I was like, oh fuck.
I'm like,
like it just made it even darker.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't like. Is it he didn't make the jump, and then the bullies dropped him off at like his mom's house in the front yard, or because they did say that 3 people saw him fly or whatever, like a guy working on his roof, the boys and the mother that saw him crash land or whatever. So who knows? Maybe this dude actually flew.
No, I like to think that
falling with style, maybe.
Yeah. I think for the sake of the story the Roald Dahl told here that he made it home. I think it's more of a question of whether or not he's dead when he's laying crumpled on the ground there. If he flew home so that he could, he does say this happened to me 27 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Did he live to be that adult? But that's the other thing, is that, like, again, coming back to that death of innocence idea, it kind of feels like a part of him died that day. Like there's
it could just be that it's just kind of his like spirit telling the story, but he's like matured. It's not like his real self, like he did live through it. And that's just how old he is now. But I think it is. I think you're right.
His spirit could be unconquerable. I think that's more the idea. Like, I think he made it all the way home, refusing to die. Like, he was one of those people. You could push him down, and no matter what.
That was a good line there.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my God, dude. I think that I have 2 contenders for the scene, and that might be my scene, is Ralph Fiennes kind of ending there and just being like the person that he was. It was either that or the train scene. Whenever he's strapped down to the train tracks, and he's like, yeah, I knew I wasn't getting out of this. Him like digging his head down, 2 inches lower, so that, he's like, yeah, I think I'm good there. But he's like, oh, well, am I going to get sucked up under, I just got to try to hold my body down against the ground as hard as I possibly can. And then and then he's like, and then I heard a hum, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh fuck. Like the slow tension build that they were building there. And then like the black dot.
Favorite shot is when the train is barreling over him, and the wheat like leans as he's laying there, and he's narrating. He's like, the wind hit me like a gunshot. It flooded my lungs and my nose and my like all that stuff. Like, dude, Rupert Friend was incredible. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, where I thought that Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar was probably a more enjoyable watch, and I would probably sooner watch it. You might be able to make the argument convincingly that this is better, though.
I think that might be true. Yeah, I think it's clear.
Like, this is
Rupert Friend gets the performance, I think, in
And
character. I mean, how are you gonna like anyone else?
Yeah, no, he's the only good character in the movie.
I guess like what the mom, but there's no mom.
There's no mom. It's no mom.
The stagehands, yeah, no, it's
right. It's just Rupert Friend.
It's Peter Watson, dude. This poor little kid. But man, yeah, I don't know, just was bird watching. That's all he was doing, you know. Just homie was chilling, totally encapsulated in his binoculars. Didn't know people were coming up. Just about to give him the worst day of his life.
Just these kids just got gifted a shotgun that morning, or a rifle. Got gifted a rifle that morning. Let's see what I can do with this thing today. Maybe I'll shoot a kid.
Yeah. Oh, they killed 14 birds or whatever before. They had them all on a string. So they were just going on. They killed a swan. Fucking dicks. Had 2 little babies that were already born too. Now
that's my scene. And it's because of Rupert Friend. Him being like, whenever there's like, again, just this small moment where it changes, you know, like, and that's the scene where his narration, you know, obviously he was doing a lot of voice work for everybody and stuff, but there was always that pace, that rhythm to it. And he says like, and he like does that little drift off, and he's like, this is a bird conservatory, you know, like, you can't do that. And they're like, we'll do whatever we want. And then he goes like, no, you can't do that. Please don't. No, you can't do that. No. And then they shoot the bird. Like, I was like, oh my God. It gave me chills, and he's doing everything. There's nobody else, you know, like, it's just him.
It is kind of crazy to think about, like, how he is completely telling the story, but feel like the different voices he does. Like, hey, you know, go get it. Like the voice for Ernie.
Dude, he does a fantastic job.
Man, he does so good. He just controls the whole scene like the whole time.
Yeah, this is we're talking about this. It's separate from the wonderful story of Henry Sugar. This is the best performance of either of them, though. I think Rupert Friend in this.
Yeah.
He is fucking incredible.
Here. Like, I feel like Henry Sugar was kind of very, you know, just kind of the same. Every time, other than whenever he was going in his disguises and stuff. I think that was pretty good and awesome. But yeah, he had to literally play everyone here. So yeah, it's a little harder of a job and a little more to do.
The old tentative talk.
Man, no, he definitely got it. He was awesome. And that's, oh man, there were like so many shots in this one that could have gotten it. Like, actually, like this one was kind of beautiful, and yeah, a lot more dark. Like, Henry Sugar's very vibrant, and what he's wearing is, I don't know, very vibrant, everything. And then you get little Peter in like all black, looking like Morpheus there for a little bit. Puts on like the Morpheus shades, not reflective. They're just all black. I don't know, dude was just in all black. But I think the shot I'm going with is old Peter with the wings on, and he stretches out, and then like, oh dude, I'm like, oh my God, that just looks sick.
It's fucking good.
And I didn't think about this until now. It hit me a little himmy, is that this dude's obviously, he likes birds, and he was obsessed, you know, with watching one. And maybe he did die there, but the reason why he thinks he won is because he loves birds so much, and he got like one chance to actually feel like a bird flying, you know, in the air, and that's like his last sort of thought before he hits the ground.
Well, I think that you were speaking to the difference in the stagecraft and the set design in this, like the very vibrant colors of The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, and then the like white of heaven. That you're kind of looking at with the swan, like it's
there, and it's just void, it is just,
you know, and it's kind of like that throughout, like kind of, you know, like you see the grain and stuff, but the sky is never really blue. It's always like completely whited out, you know, and so I think there's a lot to the idea that this child could have died 27 years ago, and this is the adult spirit that has been unconquerable. He's grown in spite of being incapable of growing, you know.
Man, yeah, it was I mean, very quick. I mean, yeah, you just kind of gets tied up, puts on the train tracks, and then taken off.
Dude, I was about to leave for work this morning, and they lift him up off the tracks, and he walks down those stairs, and I was like, this has got to be almost over. And then there was 10 minutes left. That was 7 minutes in, and I was like, oh my fucking God,
still gotta, look at the swan, kill the swan, go over there, check it out, and then get the wings, and then get.
Like these kids shot him in the fucking leg.
Yeah, almost shot him in the head.
There was no pain.
Oh my God.
It's another thing. There was no pain, but the force pushed him back with such verve that but he also flew away,
Yeah, I mean, maybe just the shock of the bullet hitting you. Like, maybe that is a thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe when you get shot, you're just like, you don't feel it until afterwards, until, like, it just all comes at once sort of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know, was that like stop motion for a little bit whenever it binoculars on the tree? That's a really good
the
model.
Swan was also
yeah.
He looked just like the actor for Little Peter. Yeah, the one that was walking out there.
I'm like, is that stop motion? And I'm like, or is that him just kind of doing animated kind of movements?
Yeah, that was some stop motion. He got a little bit in both. You had the jaguar or whatever in The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar walking across the top of the screen and stuff. But
oh yeah, no, he always likes to put everything kind of into one. I don't know. He's got to have all of his techniques and little signatures. Yeah, it's so cool. It's just like a little. I don't know. I think this one is. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird introduction to Wes if this is like the first couple things you're watching. I think it'll divide. Like, I think it's very divisive. Like, you'll either be like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I'm really into this. Like, I like the way he's like, it's very unique in the way he's telling a story. It's so different that it's cool. Or I don't know. I wonder how someone who's never watched anything of Wes before, they watch these first, and I wonder how many people go and how many people stay.
Right.
But yeah, you're right about it being probably better critically than Henry Sugar. Like, this one, like, almost, like, I don't know, like, I still didn't cry at the end. Maybe that is just because it is 17 minutes. If this one was 39 or 37 minutes, like, maybe I actually do get there. I don't know. Like, if there's a little more time spent there, maybe, like, I could. But I feel like there is kind of a moment at the end where I could. Like, I don't know, it feels like the unconquerable. Like, and whenever it goes back to Ralph Fiennes, and like he starts talking, and then
there's just a weight that I think that Ralph Fiennes kind of provides in this role as Roald Dahl, where whenever he starts speaking, I texted you this like this morning after I finished the short. Like, he provides this very personal attachment to his characters and to the story he's telling, while still seeming like presenting it as a storyteller, like an objective storyteller with no stake in the way it played out. But you can, like, there's this weight to it that feels so, it almost feels like he's eulogizing, it feels like he is mourning the loss of Peter Watson, he
like
was unconquerable,
story, like, to keep his name living on. I feel like that's, he's dead. I feel like I'm more in that camp now that I've talked through it. And that it is just like, he did all these things, like, he survived the train, like, I don't know, like, I feel like the average person doesn't live through that under a train. Dude just was smart, did what he needed to do. Maybe just a kid, perfect size. I don't know. Maybe an adult. I mean, that makes. Well, I was thinking of like an adult being strapped down because
little Peter maybe.
Rupert Friend is an adult being strapped down there, but like, yeah, I guess a kid, that does make sense. But goddamn, to persevere through all that, yeah, that's just for looking at a bird. That's all he was doing.
Was one of these people.
Man, this is another 1 in a billion. Maybe not 1 in a billion. I don't know. That might be a little too exaggerated there. But the good people. Little Peter Watson. But yeah, Rupert Friend, man. He was...
Some people, when they have taken too much and have been driven beyond the point of endurance, simply crumble and collapse and give up. Others, however, though they are not many, who will for some reason always be unconquerable. You meet them in time of war and also in time of peace. They have an indomitable spirit, and nothing, neither pain nor torture nor threat of death, will cause them to give up. Little Peter Watson was one of these.
That's a good line right there.
Yeah.
The good monologue, even. Eulogy.
Like he feels like he is more like remembering Peter rather than writing a story about him. You know, like, and it's it feels so personal, and I love that. And it did make me like, you know, again, it kind of gave me that feeling where it's like I could cry, but I was like, I have to go to work, you know. But I was like,
oh, I wonder if like all these stories are the past stories of now dead people, like in Henry Sugar.
Henry Sugar.
You get it passed down, sort of everything, and now this story of just maybe to inspire inspiration in others, you know, like just to let this story go on. I wonder if like Ratcatcher and Poison. I don't know. I saw the trailer for both of them on Netflix, just like a minute trailer for each, which is just a minute clip out of each of them. Wes doesn't do trailers. I get, you know, he just here's a minute.
You can't really give away too much about a 17-minute short either, you know, like.
But you can on Netflix right now. Both of them have like a minute clip of each of them, and kind of seems that in both someone could go in both of them. Like there could be a death.
I mean, one of them's called Poison, so
that's true. Yeah, and enough poison in a little container to kill like millions of people or something like that. Like a million people could die with this amount of poison that the dude has. Is what's shown. So yeah, it's, I don't know. Maybe it is Roald Dahl's like I don't know, kind of some. The only way these people will be remembered is if you keep telling the story of them. You know, it's like word, you got to pass it down, sort of thing. Or they're all just completely separated, just cool stories to tell. But yeah, I don't know. Ratcatcher is just a dude that looks like what's the really mean, smart farmer, the apple cider farmer in Fantastic Mr. Fox. Is that
Bean?
Bird or Bean? Yeah, Bean. Okay, Bean.
Franklin Bean. That's the Roald Dahl one. Yeah.
The Ratcatcher kind of looks like Bean a little bit. Whenever I was watching the minute, it looks like Bean. And then Poison, the minute is just Dev Patel and Benedict Cumberbatch just sitting there, and there's just a poisonous snake on his chest sleeping, and they just like have a conversation about how it is there. And Benedict Cumberbatch, like, he can't get words out. He's like, well, snake. I don't know. It's just very slow to get the idea of what's happening out, and that's it.
Right. I looked at the cast for the Ratcatcher, and it says that Ralph Fiennes is playing Ratman.
Yeah. He looks
like
a
Franklin Bean.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Well, Franklin Bean is modeled after Roald Dahl, so
that's pretty cool. I mean, he really does look like Franklin Bean. I don't know, has the same kind of coat. Looks, I think, hair out of the ears, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if he actually did, but I don't know. But yeah, it is up there on Netflix, I think. I don't know. I thought I saw it, but now I can't see it. Anyway.
Yeah, well, since we're talking about it a little bit, how about a quick R.I.P. for Michael Gambon, the actor for Franklin Bean, who was also, of course, more famously known as Albus Dumbledore. That's why
it was coming up in my brain. I'm like, no, I don't think.
He voiced Franklin Bean. He was also 𝙧 Draculius in The Life Aquatic, so a little bit of a Wes Anderson collaborator there in those couple. But yeah, super sad. R.I.P. to Michael Gambon, because man, did some shit. Love the role of Franklin. Yeah, it's good to see you guys today. Hello, how are you? You're looking well. Yes, that whole thing, and they're like, oh yes, we're quite fine.
Him freaking out.
Any Fox problems?
Yeah. Honey, give me 3 excavators and 2 bottles of apple cider. Him calling in
our combined force of 118 men.
What was his wife's name? I don't know, something like that. Payday, or I don't know if it was Honey, or like if he just called her Honey, or if it was like her actual whatever. But
fantastic in that role as Franklin Bean. So just wanted to give him a quick little R.I.P. there. The only way that we can remember these people is by breathing life into their work. So always remember him for the work he did in film, at the very least, as a fan of his work. Also was Uncle Pastuzzo in Paddington, which I love. I fucks with Paddington too.
Indeed. So I haven't gotten there, but I know you do fuck with it. Indeed,
I love Paddington
too. I do know that. But
hopefully now he's in the place where the rivers run with marmalade. But
that doesn't sound like a happy ending, if I gotta be honest.
He loved marmalade. The character, anyway. They loved marmalade.
Maybe a happy, sad ending is what it's sounding like. But yeah, no, this one is more of a sad ending here.
Yeah, it's a little, but there's that unconquerable spirit thing, that message you're left with. Like never give up. It's just if you put your mind to it, you can become unconquerable, sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say this one's a little less enjoyable than The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, but I would probably argue it's a little better than The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
I would agree as well. It kind of flip flopped it. Maybe not too much. Because
not by
maybe
a ton.
Not an 8.5 enjoyment. I don't know if it's maybe like 8.5, half a point lower. I don't know. Is it lower than that?
I mean, let's see. I mean, we've
The Prestige, 8.5s are Royal Tenenbaums and Bottle Rocket, 8.75 Rushmore.
Yeah, I mean, I have it right now. I only have this in my Wes ranking as above one Wes film, and that one Wes film is Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, I think I just put mine right under Henry Sugar. For me, I still kind of, can I really say this is better than Rushmore or the Royal Tenenbaums, dude? Come on.
That's where I was like, I would sooner watch those from a pure place of how it makes me feel. I would watch Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Isle of Dogs, all that before I'd watch this one.
That's fair.
I would watch this sooner than Bottle Rocket, personally. And that's the only one. That's the only one I could feel comfortable. So it came to 12 out of 13 on the Wes ranking, and that's saying a lot because Bottle Rocket made my top 100 that we just did. So now we've got 13 Wes films that would be in that, which is,
I don't even know if I could put it above Bottle Rocket. I guess they're different. Bottle Rocket, I don't know. I think it might be below. Might be on the last of the list.
Yeah, I mean it's 17 minutes. There's only so much you can get out of it.
What? No, yeah, I think that's the thing. Is that this is the bottom of the barrel, and oh my god,
it's fucking great,
Yeah. But I'd say Bottle Rocket would be the only one to kind of maybe give it a run for its money, and that's at an 8.5.
Then how about we just go ahead and throw it an 8.5 there? Yeah. Go ahead and tie it with that. Since I have it above, you have it below. Just split the difference.
I can dig critical. 8.25 for Henry Sugar. I think we're at least at an 8.5 or 8.75 here for this one.
And we have a gap between we have French Dispatch at an 8.5.
French Dispatch.
And frankly, something I can give this credit for that I think it kind of works in a similar way to the French Dispatch is that it does a lot of incredible character work in short spans of story, which I think Roebuck Wright and, what was Frances McDormand's character's name? Oh, Lucinda Crements. That was her.
You would have been getting it before me.
Then 𝗃𝙀𝙉𝙉𝙍 Berenson for Tilda Swinton, who I don't think they do a lot of character work for a lot in The French Dispatch, but they focus more on Benicio del Toro's character in that one.
Moses Rosenthaler.
Yeah, Moses Rosenthaler.
Zeffirelli.
Yeah, Zeffirelli. He gets so like I think French Dispatch probably is a little bit more of a sound comparison for this one. I don't know that I could personally tell you it was. I could tell you critically it's better than The French Dispatch. I don't know.
Do we have anything 875? We do not. I don't know. I don't know if I can say.
It's tight. 8.5s across the board.
Yeah, I don't know if I can put it above. The French Dispatch is pretty freaking good, dude.
It's pretty fire. It's pretty great. I love it.
So it ties it with Henry Sugar.
Yes,
they're both
it does
at an
in the
8.5.
end.
That's just how it works out. They sacrificed a little bit of vibrancy and cool story for a little bit of a more feely feel story that hits a little harder in a shorter amount of time.
Absolutely. And man, with a couple of 8.5s, it makes me look forward greatly to what we've got coming in the Ratcatcher and Poison.
Oh yeah,
because those are doing rather nicely, and we're gonna talk about those on Monday.
Do I stay up till midnight, or do I just?
I don't think it's out at midnight. I think it would be 2 a.m.
Oh, it is midnight Pacific, which is 2 a.m. here.
Which is 2 a.m. So,
Never mind. I don't know if I'm staying up till 2. That's just if I'm up at 2.
You stay up till 2 a.m. for a 15-minute short.
This is true. Would be a comfortable sleep and probably some pretty cool dreams after a West short, though.
That's true. But think about when you wake up tomorrow morning.
You're right. It's going to be much more comfortable.
These are morning shorts, I'm not trying to watch these. I'm trying to wake up and start my day with this shit.
You're right. You are correct. I will wait for the morning. We'll be back Monday to cover them both, but good little weekend we'll have.
I'm excited. No, it was so funny, thinking about a year ago. About a year ago when I'm like, I haven't even really discovered Wes Anderson's films yet. And, I'm like, a new Star Wars thing. Can't wait for that. Forget about anything else. Star Wars. This week, it was like new Wes Anderson. Oh, yeah, there's a new Star Wars thing this week.
There's also Ahsoka, but we got Wes is under the magnifying glass this week. Yeah. That's for sure.
It's I guess I'll kill time by watching the new Star Wars.
To get to Wednesday so that I can watch Wes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will kill time for the finale of Ahsoka. It's perfect.
There you go.
It's a give and take.
It's the perfect circle. It's the circle of life.
We're eating right now.
We are eating good, and we'll carry this momentum with Wes Anderson straight into another director's spotlight with Martin Scorsese in anticipation of Killers of the Flower Moon.
Can we get much better?
We can't. We shall not. Next Wednesday, we start our Scorsese spotlight with The King of Comedy. We continue it Friday with After Hours. And then the weeks after that, on Wednesday and Friday, we've got Casino and Gangs of New York, and then Shutter Island and The Irishman. So we've got a lot to look forward to in anticipation of Killers of the Flower Moon, and I am so very excited. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content. For $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. And 50 hours at this point is a low ball. I've been saying that for a good year. So I don't even, I just stopped counting. It is now. Yeah, I've just stopped counting.
It's up there somewhere. At least, you put at least in there, so you're covered.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's huge. Like I said, it's a big help. And I appreciate it greatly. Head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, follow on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review and to continue downloading. We've had a good couple of months, great couple of months. September was another top 5 for us, another top 5 month. We're less than 1,000 downloads short of my goal for the year. And with a few months to spare, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So I'm very, very excited. Remember to stand in solidarity with SAG-AFTRA as their strike continues. The WGA has been resolved, and they've won, which is very, very good. The studios gave in and presented them with a deal that the writers found suitable, and I appreciate that. And I hope that the actors get the same treatment. I hope that they don't. I hope the solidarity prevails and their support for one another pushes them through to the point where they get the deal they deserve. Yeah. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And he dived toward the light and spread his wings.